Hello everyone, welcome to Heart's Happiness Podcast. The place where I, Manpreet, share my journey of healing intergenerational family trauma to help you to understand your story. I share a bunch of tools and tips that will transform your mental health and allow you to find your own heart's happiness. So exciting, right? Each episode will cover one of three areas. 1, raising awareness of what this trauma actually is and how it hides in our lives. 2, tools, tips, support, lots of different things that I've used to get better and heal from this trauma. And 3, I'll be connecting you with so many specialists and therapists and coaches as guests on my show. So we are going to transform your mental health and empower you to take your healing by the hands and move forward. Hello, my loves. Welcome back for another episode of Heart's Happiness. Today we are talking about why we chase love. So not just romantic love, but also like relationships with our family members from the people that don't always give it to us so freely. Is a real pattern which I have in my life and a lot of my clients have as well from growing up with trauma. And I just want to apologize. So I'm just doing a little batch of podcasts before I go away. And the wind here is insane. So because I don't have like a soundproof office, I'm so sorry about the weird wind noises that you'll hear every now and again. So do accept my apologies. This is not a perfect episode. I am not perfect, but I do try my best. Okay, so chasing love. Where does it all come from? So a couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast on developmental trauma. So this is when we've had experiences from 0 to 7 where we didn't feel safe, and therefore it's impacted the development within our own brains, which then impacts us as an adult. A lot of trauma that we experience in dysfunctional families is relational. So the definition of this is the after effect of abuse, neglect, and suffering. Those who are betrayed by people they loved, trusted, or relied on, and they may encounter enormous mental and behavioural health challenges as they attempt to forge interpersonal connections and cope with many life challenges. Okay, so let's break this down, okay, in the way that I've seen it with my clients and with myself. So I'll use me as a bit of a case study to begin with. So my parents had lots of things going on when we were children. They had a sick mum to look after. They had parents dying. They had an addict father. So there was a lot of emotional absence, a lot of emotional neglect. It wasn't like they were meaning to do that to me, but it just was the way that it was. And this would happen continually, right? So where I wouldn't get my needs met by either of them in different ways. And some of the things that my clients will deal with as well is things like divorce and separation in the home. And then one of their parents being very, very absent. So a lot of like neglect there. So there's a lot of our emotional needs not being met, a lot of immature parenting. So this actually gives us that relational trauma, where love wasn't freely given to us, where we didn't feel safe and we didn't get those needs met. And I've had clients, like I said before, that have had some abandonment, like one of the parents has left the home, or there's been a breakup, a separation, there has been addiction at home. So the parent is not present, or the parents are having such a dysfunctional relationship themselves. That means that they are unable to be present with their children. And also the parents are so preoccupied with their own traumas and their own overwhelmed nervous system, their own anxiety, their own mental health conditions, their own addictions, that they're not present for you as a child as well. So these are all the different ways that we can get that relational trauma. And for me, growing up in this Punjabi South Asian family, like there's so many things I've mentioned there that were just really normal in our community, like parents working all the time, relational trauma. Parents absent because they're looking after the extended family and they're looking after all the cousins and stuff, relational trauma. So this is all the things that make us feel that love isn't available to us all of the time, that we are not worthy, that we are not good enough. We internalize those thoughts. Obviously, we're not doing this consciously, and we have that relational trauma. So we are desperate for that crumb of a love, and then we unconsciously start to do things to be able to have that love, right? So we might please our parents, we might lose weight, we might try to look a certain way, we might try to be the good one or the funny one, and we start to create these behaviors and these patterns in attempt to get the love, to chase that little crumb of love. So for me, my dad was obsessed with academic success and achievement. So I was like, oh, I'll be really good at studies and then I'll get his crumb of love. So from a very young age, I realized I had to reject my authentic self, who I truly was, and wrap myself in a bow so that I could get that crumb of love. Like, I never saw it as my parent is unavailable because of their own issues. I never saw it as they don't actually have the capacity or the capabilities or the skills to love me in the ways that I long for. Like, they just haven't, because no one did that for them either. But what happens is, when we have these relationships when we are young, and you could even have an abusive relationship when you are older, that tells you that you are nothing, you are not worthy, and then you get more relational trauma on top of what you had as a child. And that isn't an accident, right? We are repeating these wounds with other people. So we may have not felt enough, we may not have felt worthy, and then we're looking to find that with other people. And then what happens is, we accidentally, unconsciously gravitate towards energies that are similar to our families, or they make us feel the same way. So that's kind of what happens when we are like repeating a pattern. Like, what I've noticed, it won't just be romantic relationships either. It will be with work, it will be with friendship, it will be with your constant wanting that validation from outside of you. So you will notice this pattern kind of feed into things. And you may be the overgiving one. You may feel like it's unsafe to receive. You might be feeling depressed or sad or anxious because other people are not choosing you. Other people are not making effort with you. You're feeling like the left one out. You know, that kind of emotion that comes from that relational trauma, that I'm not being chosen, I'm not getting picked, I'm not important enough. And that all comes from that earlier wounding. And then we sort of have that lens from our childhood, and then we take it into our other relationships, and then all we see is the ways that those people are not there for us, and we don't see the ways that they are. I have found this come up time and time again. It came up for me recently as well in my own friendships, where I felt like I wasn't being chosen. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I was being left out. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is like an old kind of story that I'm feeling. And basically, when I spent time with them recently, I realized that it's not true. They're just busy with their lives. But when we're feeling wounded, when we're feeling, not our best selves, or, and we're still healing, we can see things in relationships that are sometimes not there, and sometimes we can see things that really are there. So when it's tuned into the body and it feels really, really unsafe, I'm sure that is for a real reason. But when I was starting to see things or feel things in a relationship where I was like, oh, I don't think I'm being chosen, I don't think I'm important, I don't think all of these things, actually that was just a projection of my own emotions. It wasn't actually true for those relationships. Sometimes it is true, but that's the thing, like, we are so confused by relationships as well. We're like, when people don't contact us and when people don't make the effort, we feel like they're not choosing us and that we're not good enough or we're not worthy. But often it's because the other people are just so preoccupied with themselves. And that can often be as well because we have created long-term relationships with family members and friends that are just not as available as we are, like emotionally, like they do not have that nervous system capacity that we have, because we learnt that from a young age. We learnt to be really available. We learnt how to, be really tuned in to other people's needs and what they want. And, we became that person. So we became really needless and wantless. Whereas other people are not like that, and they're just being, a lot more selfish. I remember it used to get me really depressed because I would be like, a lot of people are really selfish in this world because they were taking care of themselves and their needs, and I wasn't. So I just was almost like bitter and resentful. But the point is, when we have this relational trauma from young, we can become a real magnet for abusive relationships. We can also find ourselves being attracted to the ones that were like our families, but then we can sort of push away the ones that aren't, are actually available. We put a lot more energy into the unavailable than the available. And that can affect us to feel depressed, anxious, drained, sad, not good enough, shame. And we keep repeating those cycles. And it all comes from that unconscious way that we're trying to, heal that attachment wounding. So the answer to all of this, by the way, with everything, is to really heal those old wounds and learn how to be that nurturing parent that you always needed for yourself. Really taking care, nourishing yourself, grounding yourself of all those younger parts of you. And then really noticing these relationships and seeing, are they actually good for me? Would I want my child to have this relationship? Is it good for them? And also noticing, because what I find is we spend a lot of time and energy worrying and thinking about other people and our relationships with them. And that is the hangover from childhood as well. So we're really sitting there, we might be obsessing, like why they're not choosing us, why they're abandoning us, why we're not good enough for them, what can we do? We might get angry, we might get sad, we might shame ourselves, while the other person is absolutely fine and not thinking about it at all. And that's because from childhood, we've become almost obsessed of reading into other people's behavior so that we were able to figure out how to survive a situation that we now do it as an adult. And to be honest, guys, if somebody is not choosing you, if somebody is abandoning you, if somebody is not giving you the crumb of love that they're putting out into the world, that is because of them. That is not because of you. And if you spend hours and days like freaking out and thinking about that person and why they haven't chose you, you're taking away your beautiful energy from yourself. You're taking away your beautiful energy so you can heal, so you can learn how to be the love that you seek for yourself. But you're not doing that. You're sitting there obsessing about this person that is not choosing you. And I did this for many, many years. I have been obsessed with a number of people that haven't chosen me, a number of romantic relationships and friendships and even family members where I would be obsessed at pleasing these people. And it was dysfunctional and it was abusive at times, but I was obsessed of being chosen by them because I was trapped in a pattern where I was repeating what I had grown up with. So set yourselves free, my loves, by just stopping. Like put your weapons down, just put them down, because you should not have to prove your love or that your worthiness or that you are enough to anybody. And the healthy people out there will love and be there for you just because you're amazing. And also, it is safe for you to let those people in, the ones that are able to give and receive love, the ones that are able to have a balanced relationship with you. You don't have to have just these dysfunctional, dramatic relationships where your emotional needs are met. You are worthy of having more, and it does exist in the world. Like one of my clients, we were talking about this the other day, and she was just like, but I just don't think there's that many people out there that are like that are like giving and are considerate and are great relationships. But that's because in her reality, she hasn't seen that yet because she didn't grow up in that. Then she drew in relationships that were similar. So she's just been stuck in that world for a long time when there are loads and loads of beautiful people, but she's not been in tune with them because her radio station has been tuned in with the people that have got trauma, that are more dysfunctional, that are unhealed. But the more and more we heal, the more and more we're no longer in alignment with those people. And that can make us feel really sad as well. Like we can feel such deep loss because the people that we thought were our tribe are actually not. And that's so hard, right? Like it's just so difficult to go, oh my God, I've been putting all this energy into these relationships and they're actually not there for me and they never will be and they're not capable. And it's really, really sad. Like you're allowed to be sad. But when you start to see your relationships, especially the ones you grew up in, especially like siblings, families, it's really heartbreaking to go, oh my God, I've been like putting everything into these relationships. I get absolutely nothing out of them and they're never, ever going to change. So you will grieve the relationships that you have lost, the relationships that you have put energy into. But then you can start to set the intention for the relationships you do want to call in, for the healthier people that are more in alignment with you and who you are, who give what you give. And then you have to feel safe enough to be able to receive that love in your heart. There's so many people that it's just not, it doesn't feel safe. You know, as part of my one-to-one coaching, I offer messaging in between the sessions, and it's a great service. Like, you could literally talk to me every single day, Monday to Friday, all day long, about your fears, your traumas. Like, there's so much magical coaching that happens in that space. But I have many clients that don't use it because they feel bad. They feel like they're putting me out. They feel like they're disturbing me. They feel like, no, it's too much, because they're scared of receiving. That's what that is. Again, a big old hangover from the relational trauma from childhood. But that's how we repair. So this is the really shit thing. So relational trauma happens in relationships. The trauma, the abuse, the neglect, the not being seen, the not being validated, it happens in the relationship. So you kind of can do lots of healing on your own by improving the relationship with yourself, by doing like inner child work, by learning how to be there for the parts of you that have been let down and abandoned and betrayed, like being there for yourself. And then the next stage of healing really comes by you choosing to heal with others. So the first time I chose to get a therapist or a coach, I was choosing to heal in a relationship with somebody else where they could hold safe space for me. I could say what I felt. I could say what I needed. I could say how I was struggling, and they wouldn't turn me away. They would be there and be present for it. And that created another level of healing, which meant that I felt safer to be like that with people. And not the people that had rejected me for all these years, but the people that were capable and were able to hold space for all of my emotions, the big and the small. So if you have had trauma relationally in childhood, and you've had abuse, and you've been gaslit, and you don't know what's real and what's not, you've been told that the way you feel is wrong for such a long time, this is why you need community. This is why you need connection. This is why you need a group where you feel safe to be able to connect with others and go, oh my God, me too. And oh, I'm not the only one. And oh, you know, you feel like that as well. Like, that is such an important part of healing, which is why, guys, so I've been running a signature program for a long time, for like 3 years, and it's being changed and upgraded right now. It's becoming Heal Your Inner Child, and it's coming out on the 27th of November. And it has all of the steps to heal from relational trauma, to be able to heal the relationships from your past that have been abusive or neglectful, and be able to move past that. So improve the relationship with yourself, improve your nervous system, be able to allow your body to heal from what it's been through. But as part of that, I will also be giving you community as well. So there will be a Facebook group for you all to connect on, and also there'll be calls with me every single month. So I plan to hold Heal Your Inner Child for many, many years, as long as you guys need it and you come in the door and you come and it helps you. I plan to keep it long term. That is my intention. From after years of doing this and seeing people and what they need, I cannot tell you, when I bring a group together, even though everybody's a little bit scared because they've never shared things before and it's a bit, oh, when they come together, often people feel very safe with me but can be a little bit scared of others. But when they start to hear people's stories and that connection, things really start to change because they realize they're not the only ones. And I know that that's scary to do that. So there's never any pressure to do that, by the way. So the monthly calls, I'll be answering any questions. And when the groups are smaller, you can tell me what's going on with you. As the group grows, we will do like more theme talks each month. But you are not on your own, okay? And you don't have to be a victim. And you don't have to chase after the people that don't want to give you love. Here I am, guys. I want to give you this space full of love, full of light, full of a community of people that are doing the work. They're becoming the love they seek. They are learning how to love themselves. They honor themselves, set boundaries. This all takes time and it all takes work, which is why you will get access to the monthly calls for as long as I do the program. I start on the 27th of November. The link is in the episode notes, or you can email me at manpreet@heartshappiness.co.uk or DM Heal on my Instagram, and come and join us. Come and join the community, the movement of people that are just like you, just like me. You know, I'm just a few steps ahead on my healing journey, but I have so much to teach and share. And obviously I love doing this podcast. I love creating content for you all, but this is going to be my special place for us to talk about boundaries, to talk about saying no, talk about, you know, the parent that never changes, the dysfunction of Christmas. You know, this is a special place for just that, to be able to help you to heal that relational trauma so that you don't feel that you just have to keep going back to these abusive, dysfunctional relationships. And some of them may not be even abusive. They just might be really quiet. They might be full of silent treatment. They might be just absent. And your soul is dying for connection and for love and for a space to be held. So that, I'm really passionate about this community. I'm really passionate about this course, the modules in it. So it's self-learning in terms of the bits you'll learn. So you can do that as many times as you need, because some people it takes longer than others, and really heal those things. You know, I had a pattern of having really dysfunctional relationships, hanging on to relationships that were really bad for me because I was so loyal to them. You know, bad relationships with family members. Like, my relationship patterns were just super dysfunctional. The more and more I had a better relationship with myself, the more and more new relationships came into my life. And then being able to feel worthy of receiving that love, that took like the next stage of healing. And that's how we heal from this. You know, now I believe I'm worthy of so much more. At the beginning of my relationship with my husband, it made me feel really terrified that this person was so available and so wanting to be there for me and didn't want me to fix them and didn't want me to save them. That was really weird for a while. And being able to let that in, that has taken some work, to be honest, but it's so amazing. You know, like having someone that's just in your corner that supports you. You know, he's not perfect, you know, sometimes he does some things, but like being able to have more love than I've ever had is such an amazing gift. And I so want that all for you all as well. And that's what happens when we heal our inner child and we really come to love and care for ourselves. You know, I'm still I don't like super love myself or anything, but it's healthier than it's ever been. I take care of my own needs. I nourish myself. I've stopped doing things like overworking or choosing relationships where I am not chosen. You know, and this wound has come up for me again this summer. And I was really like feeling pain for people not choosing me. But then I was like, that's all right. You know, maybe their energy is just not in alignment with me anymore. I have changed a lot. That's okay. And there are new relationships and experiences that I get to intentionally call in, because we are the co-creator of our universe, of our experiences. And when we are so caught in like the pain of our past and just repeating that cycle, we're not in the creation mode, we are in the pain mode. And it's hard to call in when we feel that way. But when we really begin to go, okay, I'm going to put other people over there, I'm going to see how things feel. So when I was feeling that wound of not being chosen, I sat with it, and I sat with my younger self, and she showed me all these other images of where she wasn't chosen, and sometimes by some of these friendships that were in my younger life. And I'm like, okay, I understand why you feel this way. Let me give you what you need, and let me surround you with people that choose you, that are like, you're amazing. Because I'm sure you're listening to this and you are amazing. And there are people that see that in you. And if not, you have surrounded yourself with the wrong people, and you can change that habit. And that is what healing gives us, guys. So you don't have to chase the unavailable love anymore in any capacity. You know, even when I was in workplaces that were dysfunctional, I was like asking for a promotion, asking for a pay rise, and I wasn't getting them. Again, it's like chasing the unavailable love and going, okay, well, I'll be an even better employee. I'll do even more work, and then will you pick me? And they still don't pick you. If they don't pick you, it's fine. Let them go lovingly. Be there for yourself. Many, many years ago, like I mentioned earlier, there was lots of men in my life that were unavailable, but there was a particular man that really shifted my healing journey, and it's like it made me crazy, him being unavailable. Like, he would come forward and then he would step back, and he would come forward and he'd step back, and it really pushed my buttons, this particular loss, I guess. And I would work harder and harder for that little crumb of love, because he would give it to me. It would be a compliment. It would be a smile, some attention. And I was like hooked on the dysfunction, hooked on our trauma bond. And I would have given anything for him to choose me. Anything, like money, an arm, everything for him to choose me. And when he didn't, it caused me depression. It caused me anxiety. It caused me to like want to die. And when I think about that now, that person, now that I've got over it and it's all passed me by, that I'm just like, that person was never worth me hurting myself ever. Because somebody that doesn't choose you, that is to do with them. That is not to do with you. And don't abandon yourself because of it. And I was abandoning myself because of him rejecting me. So I was abandoning myself with the way I treated my body. I was abandoning myself by the way I was talking to myself. I was abandoning myself by every time I was interactive in that abusive dynamic. And it's still something that I remember very clearly. So when I hear clients struggling with this kind of thing, I'm like, please don't choose that other person and what they think and what they feel, and being obsessed with everything around them, where you forget about yourself. And that could even be your parents, that could even be your siblings, where you get so obsessed at like, why are they like this with me? Why are they like this with me? It's fine. You know, take care, be there for your younger self. So when I was in that dysfunctional relationship, I was there for myself, and I realized that him rejecting me was reminding me again and again and again of being rejected by my dad. And there's no bigger rejection, is there, than your dad taking his life and choosing to leave you. So this is what I was doing with this person, continually until I decided that enough was enough and the dynamic was going to change. And I took the power back in my life. And that's what healing does for us all. So I don't want you to keep choosing these relationships. Look at the ones that make you feel like you're chasing, and look at the ones that feel like ease. And start looking at your diary. Spend more time with the people that feel good and less time with the people that you're chasing. Because that is to do with them. That is not to do with you. Okay? And if you need any support and this resonates, Heal Your Inner Child program is for you, my love. Like, heal from the past so you stop doing it in your repetitive patterns. Choose yourself, and the healthier and the better relationships will come, because they are out there, right? Like, you're chatting to me, you're listening to me, and there's lots of people like me that are doing the work on themselves, and you deserve to be around those people and in those communities, and we are out there. And they might not just be in our families or in our current circles, but we get to call them in, we get to be attracted to them, okay? You are worthy of love. You're worthy of being chosen. You are not chosen as a child. So please stop repeating that pattern as an adult, because it is so painful. And then it causes so much shame, so much suffering that we are bringing into our lives, that if we just choose to stop and to focus on the available and ourselves, and being available for ourselves, being available for our own emotions, not rejecting ourselves, then that's what starts to change the pattern around us. And I've certainly seen that in my life and those with my clients as well. Now, I still have some capacity for one-to-one coaching as well, so I'll leave that in the episode notes. So this is more if you want to go deeper, so not just healing your inner child, but you want to transform your relationships, your career, go at a deeper level. I still have some availability for that as well. So have a wonderful week. I have got my first ever event that I'm doing this Sunday. So there is a couple of tickets actually left. So I'll leave the link just in case anybody wants to last minute come and join me in East London for Hearts Happiness Go Live. I'm so excited about that. And for anybody that's coming to join me, it's going to be incredible. I'm sending you all so much love and light. And remember what I said, you are worthy of love of your own and those that give it freely to you, okay? And if you are stuck in this pattern, you have the power. Yes, you have the power to change that. And you can grieve the ones that weren't giving you the love because they weren't capable. And you can create space for the new. I send you lots of love. And I'll speak to you in the next episode. And there we have it, guys. An episode completed. I hope you enjoyed it and it raised a load of awareness in your mind. There was alarm bells going. You were all like, ding, that's totally me. Because that's what I was like when I started this journey. And that is the start of the process, finding out this information and realizing it has happened in your own life. So I really hope it was helpful. And before the next episode coming out next Wednesday, be sure to check us out on Instagram. So it's hearts__happiness. Also, we have a YouTube channel where I share the videos I create for Instagram on. So you can check that out. They come on about once a week. And then we also have a Facebook group if you want to join to carry on the conversation. I want to create a community where we're all talking about our very real experiences and traumas. And then there is also my website called heartshappiness.co.uk, which you can check out to join our mailing list so that as I create new services and support tools for you all, you're the first to find out. And I have a freebie on there, so definitely check that out. It's 5 books that transformed my healing. So if you really want to kickstart and you're liking the content in here, these books are like the basis of so much of my knowledge. So definitely check that out. And I will speak to you next week. I'm so excited to continue this journey with you to help you to find your own heart's happiness. Take care.